Malika Andrews. We're going to talk about her because it's crazy. ESPN really have a problem. You know, first they had a racial problem, and now they have a problem within the same problem they had, you know. So Malika Andrews is a reporter at ESPN. She started off reporting on basketball, football, and stuff like that. And then the whole Rachel Nichols thing happened, I think last year or so. And after that, a lot of people of color got, you know, bumped up in promotion. And Malika Andrews was one of them. So we're going to talk about her because she's been very disrespectful to Stephen A. Smith and Kendrick Perkins in regards to the Ime Udoka situation with the Celtics. So, what's good?
Boston Celtics coach Ime Udoka has been suspended for the entire 2022-2023 season for having a consensual relationship with a female member of the Celtics staff. The relationship is considered a violation of the organization's guidelines. The Celtics said in their statement that a decision on Udoka's future with the team beyond this season would be made at a later date. Assistant Joe Mazzulla will become Boston's interim coach for the season.
Before we even go on to that, I'm going to say this right now. Malika Andrews had a segment on her show. I think it was NBA Today. I think that's her show. Where she talked about, you know, the interim head coach. And she just brought up his past. Like, oh, he was illegally drinking at a young age. He was doing underage drinking. Why are you trying to bring down a man right now, bro? Especially in the time of his life where he's being, you know, put in a position that's like the best in sports when you think about it. It's the Celtics, the Boston Celtics. You know, he's becoming a head coach. Of course, it's because of an unfortunate situation. Yes. But at the same time, you bringing up his past have nothing to do with what's going on right now. It don't make no sense. You know, but hey.
Malika Andrews, but I'll come back to you on this. Tell me this. Obviously, you've had a few moments to digest everything. What was the most surprising part of the press conference for you?
The most surprising part of the press conference for me, Molly, was the fact that the owner and the president of basketball operations sat before the media and alerted us all to the fact that not only are we suspending him, Ime Udoka, for the season, but we haven't even made a decision yet as to whether or not we're going to bring him back after next season, after this upcoming season, which means that you've left him dangling in the wind and you've taken him off the market. You've retained his rights. You've impeded his ability to go elsewhere. You didn't fire him. There's no NDA involved. You just sat up there and basically told the world, he's ours, but we ain't going to use him.
And they didn't give parameters of what it would take to reinstate him.
They gave no parameters of what it would take for reinstatement. They didn't specify what punishment they gave him beyond suspending him for the year. Is he getting his salary for this upcoming season? Has it been cut in half? I told he's only getting about 50% of it. Has that been cut in half?
Characterized as a significant financial penalty.
So you've got that going on. And I'm going to say this again. It said in the numerous news reports, it was a consensual relationship that violated organizational policy. So only he is in violation of the company policy.
I want to say this before Stephen A. continues on. I really truly believe that the fact that in this situation, they're not bringing forth the other person that was consenting to the relationship. I think that's kind of weird and that's very strange because in a world of 2022, where we fought for women, you know, equal rights to be equal to men in certain aspects or whatever, that's not equal. That is unfair, especially if you are consenting to the relationship. If you are part of something that caused a problem, so everybody that caused that problem should be, you know, taking accountability. It's crazy the fact that the Celtics are being so vague and they're not, you know, being fair to both parties. You know, of course, Ime Udoka is going to get more attention. He's the head coach for the Boston Celtics, you know? And the other person, I heard it was like somebody who was basically like an assistant. If you were trying to reprimand somebody for something that they did, right? You reprimand them, right? So if somebody consented to something, why would you reprimand them? Honestly, you know, I think that's kind of unfair and that's kind of crazy. But what I would say is the smart way about this, maybe this is what they're going to do. I have no idea. Maybe they're going to, you know, since Ime Udoka is the head coach of the Celtics, that Of course, he's gonna get all the press. Cool, but the woman that was, consenting to the relationship, she's probably gonna get reprimanded behind the scenes. Maybe that's what they're doing, But at the same time, I still say that it's unfair, the fact that you're dragging this man's name through the mud. And I'm not saying that he didn't do nothing wrong. He deserves what he got. I mean, a year suspension, though, that's kind of crazy. Because we've seen Sarver got a year for saying the N-word, which is wild crazy. So that equal the same thing as Sarver? I don't think so. But at the same time, he did what he did, and he have to accept the consequences. But at the same time, make sure you do the same thing you're doing to him, to the person that also was a part of that situation. They both are at fault, not just Ime Udoka.
The woman who elected to have a consensual relationship with him is not in violation. He gets to get mentioned and put on Front Street. We don't know who she is. What about the other women within the Celtics organization who have been victimized because wrong assumptions have been made by their involvement? If you knew exactly who it was, that would alleviate the concerns of all the other women who have had their names paraded out into the streets. What about them? You ain't thinking about that. So here we are. We're throwing him out to pasture. And again, Ime Udoka cannot be defended. His actions are his actions. Nobody fights for black coaches more than me. But I am telling you, a firing would have been warranted. Or you keep him. But to keep him, yet suspend him, by the way, not just suspend him, but for the suspension to be indefinite.
It's almost worse like a lame duck status.
That's what you did. You ruined his career for the next few years. He did it. He did his action. But
NBA reporter and host of NBA Today, our friend Malika Andrews. Malika, do you have us?
I've got you, Molly. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being with us. And obviously you had the statement from Udoka that was given to you. What's your reaction now after hearing the press conference?
Well, Molly, thank you. If I could first start with this. Stephen A., with all due respect, this is not about pointing the finger. Stop. What became apparent to me in this press conference is that we do not have all of the information here. And it was frustrating to me that the Celtics declined to elaborate or to give more specifics about what exactly the rule breaking was that led us to this point. So that I just want to get that out of the way first. But to answer your question, Molly, I think what stood out to me, I think what stood out to me is that Brad Stevens, he was upset. That's what stood out to me about what he termed rampant Twitter BS is the word that he used, that women were unfairly dragged into this within the Celtics organization. You could see that Brad Stevens was visibly upset about this. And I also found that to be gross and unnecessary, that folks were bringing in the names and the images of women that is just not a fact. That was purely speculation. And so to me, that is what stood out. But the Celtics as an organization could have done more. And short of doing more ahead of this yesterday, they could have owned that responsibility in this press conference. I understand that there were legal parameters that they had to operate within for everybody involved. And I appreciate the fact that they brought in outside counsel and did a thorough organization. And I think that that is something that was clearly necessary in this situation. But the fact that it was able to go on all day, the fact that we are sitting here debating whether somebody else should have been suspended or not, we are not here, Stephen A., to further blame women. That is not why we are here.
First of all,
nobody's blaming women. Nobody's blaming women at all. I mean, I think the women that were a part of the consensual relationship should be blamed as well. But nobody's blaming women just the way that she's saying it. The way she's saying it, it seems like if the woman didn't do anything wrong. She did the same thing as Ime Udoka. What is the problem? You feel me? Nobody's blaming women, but the person that needs to take accountability. Malika Andrews is trying to make it seem like women can't be at fault. Like women don't got the same type of, situation as men. That's what it kind of comes off as. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys done seen this before. You know, if you are a part of a problem, again, everyone that's part of that problem needs to be reprimanded. Everyone that's part of that problem needs to take accountability and needs to, you know, get those same consequences. It's just what it is. I'm tired of women wanting to be in this equal plot. And then when it comes to this equal plot of, you know, responsibility, it's like, I don't want it. Like, why are you only want to be equal when it benefits you? Why you want to be equal when you're getting rewarded for being equal? But you don't want to be equal when you're getting reprimanded for being equal. Why do you not want that? And Malika Andrews seems to be fighting against that. You know? And in my opinion, I think that's wrong. I think if we all want to be equal in some aspect, we have to be equal when it comes to the same exact things. We have to be able to stand on our toes and say, I'm going to take accountability for that. Because at the end of the day, we all equal, right? So why is she acting like this? Don't make no sense to me. But like I said, I don't like how she's talking. It's crazy.
Well, let me be very clear. I don't appreciate where you're going with that. I'm not blaming anybody but Ime Udoka. He deserves, the fact of the matter is, I've said he deserved to be fired if they were going to fire him. If you're not going to fire him, then don't fire him. My issue is all of this being publicized. The point that I'm trying to make is just like you're not mentioning.
I'm not even gonna lie too. The craziest part about this story is that this happened more often than people think. You feel me? There's a lot of people in the NBA and all these sports leagues that be dating people within the same team, the same organization. Even if it's not even sports, corporate, whatever you want to call it. People are dating each other, bro. People are in relationships with each other. I just don't know what exact policy or rule the Ime Udoka broke. And the crazy part about it, the Celtics are not saying nothing. They're just putting out a story and not giving no type of facts, no information whatsoever. I don't understand. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't understand. ESPN got to do better, bro.
Excuse me. I listened to you. You're the one telling me to stop on my show. It ain't happening. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I've already said he deserves to be fired or he deserves to be there and handle it internally and privately. If you're not going to handle it privately, if you're going to publicize it in that fashion, then obviously it provokes everybody wanting to know, okay, well, who are the parties involved? When you have Amina Smith in Boston and other women pointing out the fact that there were women who were wrongly implicated in all of this, it's a disservice to them. I didn't come out with the report about a consensual relationship. I didn't come out with the report ahead of time leaking that they were going to suspend him for the year. They did that. And my point is, considering how pervasive this kind of stuff has existed in professional sports for many years, my whole point is that, excuse me, make sure that you handle it in the same fashion it has always been handled. You could have fired him, and then we could have speculated till the cows come home, but he's gone. But to keep him there, keep him employed, but in the same breath, suspend him for a year, then also that year is indefinite. That is the issue that I have. Nobody's trying to protect Ime Udoka, and certainly nobody is trying to protect, is to excoriate the women involved or anything like that. I'm talking about how things of this matter are usually handled from an HR perspective, from an organizational perspective. That is not consistent with what we have seen throughout the years. That is the only point that I was trying to make. I'm not trying to attack anybody. And if anybody deserves to be attacked, it's Ime Udoka for putting himself in this position. I've made that very clear. I'm just talking about you got owners and everybody else. They know the kind of stuff that's going on. You didn't say anything about anybody else. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about them. They didn't say anything about everybody else all the other times this stuff has happened. But now when it comes to him, it's all over the place. That is my issue. That is my only issue.
I appreciate.
I'm going to say I agree with what Stephen A. said. You feel me? He's speaking really fast. At the end of the day, Ime Udoka did what he did. He deserved the consequences. Simply said at that. Same thing with the woman that's involved. Nobody's blaming anyone except the people who actually broke the rules. It's just that simple.
Appreciate that clarification. And I think that getting back to Molly's initial question, that is what stood out to me from the press conference. My reaction to the press conference, and I appreciate you clarifying that, Stephen A., is that the only thing that was made clear to me in this is that we are missing a key piece of information here. That is my reaction to the press conference.
And by that key piece.
Listen, man, at the end of the day, stop acting as though everyone can't be accounted for. At the end of the day, Malika Andrews, stop trying to make people look bad on national TV. You try to make the interim head coach look crazy and bring up his past and all that. That's not warranted, bro. It's really not. People make mistakes. Are you going to judge people when they pass mistakes all the time? The man probably trying to be better than when he was in college. What? That's kind of crazy. You're blaming somebody about, or you're bringing up something from the past about somebody that was in college. Like if everyone in college wasn't doing nothing crazy. Come on now. Stop playing. But hey, man, let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section, man. Tell me what's going on. How y'all feel about Malika Andrews and what she said? Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so we can get up in this algorithm, man. Because listen, I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers. And y'all got to stop playing me for all the 97% of people who not subscribed. You feel me? But hey, I'm going to catch y'all in the next video.